My name is Bill Hall. I was born in Somerville, Massachusetts, April 7th, 1918, the youngest son of 9 children born to Irish immigrants. We were a very close family. We did not have much, but I never wanted anything. I had a happy childhood. I played baseball in high school, and our team played in Fenway Park and won state championships. That was a real thrill. I am still an avid baseball fan and follow all the teams, especially the Boston Red Sox. I never thought I would see them win a World Series in my lifetime, but they have won twice since I moved to California. There were 16 million men and women in the United States military during World War II, and I was one of them. I had entered the Army as a private in April 1943. I had a 3A deferment because I was the sole earner of the family, but I felt it was important to do my part, so I enlisted. As a serious amateur photographer, I had freelanced for local papers, so I asked to be assigned the Circle Corps or the Air Force as a photographer. But at that time, nearly everyone was assigned to the infantry. I was promoted to corporal and then sent to Officers Candidate School at Fort Benning, Georgia, and I was commissioned as a second lieutenant in December of 1943. I was a rifle platoon leader in the infantry 405th Infantry Regiment of the 102nd Division. The Army infantry motto is "Follow me," and my regiment motto was "Up front," and that is where we were. The Army infantry has the highest casualty rate of any branch of the service, and I became part of the casualty count myself on November 29, 1944, at 11:30 a.m. when I was wounded in Germany. That same day, 8 men in my outfit were killed. The day I was injured, I woke up on a stretcher carried by 2 German soldiers. My first thought was that I had been captured. However, it turned out that they were POWs themselves and were being used at the hospitals to help us. I was taken to this battalion station, and then on December 6, 1944, I was transferred to the 65th General Hospital in England. January 4th, we arrived at the 316th Hospital in Scotland. On the same day, I boarded a plane for home. The flight took 13 hours. We stopped at the Azores for fuel and food, and then after one final stop in Newfoundland, we landed in Mitchell Field in New York. I was at Fort Dix for most of the January. Then on February 6th, I arrived at the England General Hospital in New Jersey, which used to be the Haddon Hall Hotel, and had been converted to a hospital. I finally returned home on December 1st. From the day of my injury a year earlier until I returned home, I was in 11 different medical facilities. A returning soldier, we were treated like royalty. Shortly after we arrived in New York City, a grade of us were taken to Madison Square Garden for the flights. It was a hero's welcome. We were put in the front row, and people were sending over beers and hot dogs and candy, and we were so glad to be home. I received many letters from the men in my platoon. One of them letters was from Technical Sergeant Rowdy Parker. He was from Oklahoma. Although I was just a city kid, we got along very well. He was my second man. Rowdy wrote to me and said the fellows missed me so bad, and they said they made sure the camera was shipped home. They were worried that something had happened that made me unhappy to write, but that wouldn't give up. I wrote back to Rowdy as soon as I finished reading his letter to thank him for the camera. The letter came back unopened, marked deceased. Rowdy had been killed in combat and awarded the Distinguished Service Cross for extraordinary action against the enemy on the 23rd of February 1944. He was a true hero, and I think of him often. My most vivid memory of the war is seeing how truly united the United States was. Everyone understood we had to go to war, and were behind our great President Franklin D. Roosevelt all the way. All branches of the military did valiant and heroic work, and the men and work at home did equally heroic work, breaking all records for manufacturing ships and planes and tanks and so forth in record time. After the war, I returned to work at First National Stores, a New England grocery chain, headquartered in Somerville, Massachusetts. On New Year's Eve, 1947, I met Anne McLaughlin at a New Year's party. We were married in April 1949 and had one child, Kathleen. My wife passed away in 1999. I am now living in California with my daughter. I love it here and have met a lot of friends. I am proud that I had a small part in our victory. As far as the legacy left by me and my candidates, all I can say is that we did the best we could, and we hope that it would be a better and more peaceful world. We seem to be still hoping.